What if the way you've been telling your life story reveals the secret to what is holding you back? Stories play an integral part in how we see not only ourselves, but the whole world. Stories are more than just an important part of communication. They also reveal hidden aspects of our inner talk, which can either support us or end up holding us back from the very things we want most in life, without us even realizing it. Join author, mindset coach, and award-winning singer-songwriter Carrie Rowan on her show, Look for the Good, every Monday at 5 a.m. and 5 p.m. when she shares nuggets of wisdom from her internationally best-selling book, Tell a New Story, 5 Simple Steps to Release Your Negative Stories and Bring Joy to Your Life. Carrie's powerful stories and compelling guests will empower you to change how you look at your own life while giving you some powerful tools and tips you can use every day to help you feel better and move yourself closer to the life you've been longing to live.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Look for the Good. I'm your host, Carrie Rowan, mindset strategist and speaker, and I love sharing nuggets of wisdom about the stories that we tell each other, but more importantly, those stories that we tell ourselves. And you can join me and my special guests as we share our personal stories of strength and triumph each week here on Dream Vision 7 Radio Network. And you can listen online on your mobile device, in your car, or ask Alexa to play Dream Vision 7 Radio. And tune in every Monday at 5 a.m. and 5 p.m. Eastern Time to get real stories and tips on how to turn your story and your life around and evolve with us as we unite humankind with universal love. And I'm super excited. You guys know I love talking about stories, all things stories. And I even wrote a book on stories. And so our stories are so important, especially when we're on the brink of changing ourselves, changing our lives, changing our career. We're ready to make that pivot out of what we used to do into something new. And we're going to talk about those stories today. I love diving into stories, and I have Beth waiting in the wings. Hello, Beth.
Hi. Hi, everybody. Hi, Carrie.
Super excited to have you here. And I love talking about, and you have a story like this, so we're going to dive into it. That story that says, the quiet little one in our head that says, who are you to do that? You can't do that. What? You're going to stop doing what you always do? As soon as we go into that uncomfortable zone, right? That mind tries to reel us back in with scary stories. And I love figuring out what those are, finding out, identifying them, because that takes away their power, right? When we figure out what those stories are and we realize that those stories aren't even really true because we have a lot of proof to show otherwise. We just forget and we get stuck in that back brain and then we go down that little rat hole. So how do we get around those stories? And how do those very stories end up being our turnaround story? Those stories, those overcomer stories, the comeback story, everybody loves that story. How does that become our biggest story? And hidden in that story is always where our superpower lies. So let's dive in with Beth Nydick. And can I read your bio, Beth?
Yeah, go for it.
I love your background. So Beth is a media strategist, former TV producer, and visibility expert who teaches entrepreneurs how to turn podcast appearances into 10K plus revenue streams. I love that. She's the creator of the MICS method. I'm assuming that's Mike S method.
Mike's method, yeah.
Mike's method, and founder of the Mike to Millions movement, empowering experts to stop being the best kept secret in their industry. That is the best line. I highlighted it because I loved it so
You're
much.
so cute.
We can be a best kept secret right here in our own little office, and nobody has to even find out about us. But I love your entrepreneurial spirit. Tell us, you've got a family history, a bloodline of entrepreneurs. Is this what inspired you to get involved in this?
I grew up with my parents are entrepreneurs, my in-laws are entrepreneurs. I've been an entrepreneur. I recently was telling a story of somebody asked me, like, what's my earliest memory of entrepreneurship? And it was riding around in my dad's truck in the winter in a snowstorm, with the big shovel on the front and what's it called? Shoveling people's driveways, plowing people's driveways. It was my brother, my sister, and I in the cab with him with hot cocoa, and he would get cash. Every house, he would get cash. It was the 70s and 80s, guys, right?
Yeah.
But that's what I remember, and I remember like that feeling of, oh, you can do something and get paid for it. And fast forward to, well, I was probably like 10, 11 years old. I remember being on the playground with my caboodle. You remember your
Caboodle.
caboodle? Right,
Yes.
my pink and purple caboodle selling barrettes. Adam would put like,
Wow.
I remember opening up and being like, Beth's Boutique is open.
I love it.
Barrette. Remember those barrettes with like the satin
Yes, you
string?
braided them and then they
Yeah,
came down
exactly.
long. Do exactly. I had a visual when you said barrettes.
But for me, it was like that creativity of an idea and then putting it into action and then getting other people to accept it and to want
Yes.
it and to be interested in it. And cash has never been a bad thing for
No, cash is king,
me.
right? I love that. And it's that like just I love the creative piece that you mentioned because I'm super all about creativity, right?
Yes.
Because it's in that creativity, the stuff that we did as little kids that I find that especially as women, we forget what it is that we love. We forget what it is that we're capable. When we look back, like I said, some of the evidence there is like you were already doing that, way back then. Most entrepreneurs, we were all already doing that. We just didn't really realize it.
Yeah, especially because there wasn't social media to like put it on to get a reflection, right? The
Yeah.
reflection was your parents giving you the ability to do a lemonade stand, right? And you made $7 and you were so happy to go to Toys R Us and get a toy, or you were you were babysitting and they gave you that cash after they bought you Oreos, right? They left Oreos
Right.
on the counter and then gave you cash for when you left. But for me, it's always been about really seeing what other people can become, because that's what I think my
Mm.
parents actually gave me, is that notion of like everything is possible, just choose what your possibility actually is.
I love that because a lot of times I feel like we're not that specific. Like, right, we've got this pie in the sky, but we don't
Yeah.
really get that specific to choose. And I think if you ask a lot of people, especially women, after we've had kids and we're trying to figure it all out, like, what do you choose? What do you really want? Well, we know what everybody else wants and loves, but what do we really want and love, right?
Oh, like what do I want to be when I grow up?
Yeah,
Retired.
exactly.
That's what I want to be when I grow up, right? What do I want to, it's, I think it's more about what do you want to do? And I'm not big on like, I'm not one of those women that's, I want to make an impact on 1,000 people. Like that's just not my thing.
hmm
I want to be able to show people that there's a different way. There's a possible way. And I always say this on my calls and when I do a lot of podcasting, no one's coming to save you. You're
Yeah,
And especially in the entrepreneur space, like the right marketing assistant's not going to save your business, right? The right
right.
VA, the right OBM, like all the people that you employ to be in your business, they're not going to save your business. You have to stand up straight, understand where you're going now.
Mm.
That's what's going to actually give you the possibility of success in your business. But that chaos that we all kind of create around it, or I need to buy one more course, I need to find the right person. It's really, I, I often say that what we've decided to do is personal development on crack. And
It's
it's
so true. Oh my God.
right. And if you can get that squirrely brain out of your way and
Yeah.
not listen to it and really embody like you are not what you think, then
Yeah.
the road is open. Then the possibilities are endless. It's just choosing what you're, like I said, what is your possibility now?
Now, I love that. I love so many things you said in there. I want to just peel that back a little bit. The personal development on crack is so alluring. It's like, I mean, I've got a friend of mine, we laugh and we'll call each other and go, "Hi, my name is Carrie. I just bought another course that I'm never going to finish."
Yeah, I didn't come up with it. I
Right?
must have heard it somewhere, but it's so true.
It is so true, and everybody does it, especially as she's not even I'm trying to drag her into the entrepreneurial world and leave her job. She's not even there yet, but she so has that. Like, it's like, when do we stop? When do we just and again, that ties into what I said at the top of the show. That is imposter syndrome right there, hidden in that, "Oh, this class, this is it. This is the thing. Oh my God, I'm going to sign up for this whole, I'm going to do the funnels thing, right? Oh, yeah, 10 grand. Let's do the funnels thing. This is the thing, right? Russell Brunson, whatever it is." And we get so excited. Tony Robbins, I love all those. Dean Graziosi, I love all of them. I want to sign up for all the courses. I want to do the 10K stages. I want to do it all. But it is just, it's hidden inside. It's imposter syndrome, hidden in the, there's something else that I need. When you peel it all back, that's the story. I'm not good enough. I still am not, fill in the blank.
Yeah, because we still think we need to learn something. I'm at a place in my business that the only things I'm doing, spending money on and hiring are solutions to problems that I know I have in my business. It's system
Mm,
solutions, it's operational solutions, because I know enough, right? Like you and I, we've been doing this for a while. We've been in the game. I know what my products are. I know what my offers are. I know how I help women go on podcasts and actually make money from that conversation versus it just being something else they have to get done. It amazes me how people aren't
Mm.
looking at media as a business tool, especially podcasting and radio. This is a business tool.
Yeah.
All of your whole new audience to me, right? Your audience, most of them probably don't know me. They're new to me. Now they get to hear what I'm about. They get to understand my vibe. They get to understand who I'm talking to, what I offer, and what I can do for them. And I think people really focus too much on what their thing is and not who they are and then who the audience can become by working with them.
Ooh, I love that. Who they are and who the audience can become by working with them. That's super huge. Instead of, "Oh, what's my avatar?" All those little, "Oh, what about my logo and my colors and there's so much that we get. And then we just become overwhelmed too. But you just boiled it down so beautifully.
Yeah, like it amazes me how people think that a sales page is what actually is selling their product.
Right.
It's not, right? It's the 15 follow-ups you did, that
Right.
masterclass. It's the conversation you have live on your own Instagram story talking to it. If
Hmm.
they can see that you're their person, it doesn't I have to go back to that. If
Yeah,
you like me, it doesn't matter what I'm selling.
it's
If
true.
you're in on me, and I was talking to a client of mine the other day because I was doing a finishing up our project together, and I was like, for testimonial sake, like, what's the reason you hired me? And she said, I knew you were going to make me do the hard things that I have to do, and I wasn't getting myself to do. Like,
Mm.
no way. Like, that's amazing.
Can I put that in print? Right. Like
I
that is
did.
so,
Well,
that's what we all need. Right.
yeah, well, she said to me, like, I have this attitude that I've gotten from my parents and my in-laws who are also entrepreneurs. It's like, why not you? Why
Mm.
not you to have your own radio show? Why not you to
Right.
have your own podcast? Why not you to be the one to sell that? So often, like you said at the top, it's like, why me? And I really feel like it's why not you? If we can just change that one thing that we're thinking about, then again, we go back to possibility. Then anything is possible because why aren't you the one? Who was
Yeah.
I to like? I have a cocktail cookbook that was published traditionally a couple years ago. I wasn't a bartender. I'm not a big drinker, right? I wasn't big in the food space, but I knew I had a great idea and I
Mm.
could make it happen by enrolling other people in the possibility of it being me.
Mm.
That's what we need to talk about
Yeah.
in our industry, in this personal development thing that we've decided to do and is actually cloaked in entrepreneurship.
Right.
Right, that's what it's about, and that's why I love podcast guesting and being on radio because you can have this real conversation where people get to know you and understand who you are and what your offers are and what you can do for them and how you can change the trajectory of what their goals are.
I love that because, like we were saying, it's like it's your personal story. It's who you are. And guess what, folks? Nobody else can duplicate that. Only you have that special sauce that I mentioned before, your superpower. Nobody else's is quite the same. Nobody does it exactly the way Beth does it, right? So when you find your person, right, like just like you said, you could sell anybody anything because they're just following you. They believe in you, what you've done, your past, and your stories. And that's why I feel like our stories are so important that we got to pay attention to them. What are the stories, not just the little nasty ones we tell ourselves, but how do we present ourselves, right? What am I saying? Is there something negative hidden in my story that people are feeling that I don't intend to say?
That's the worst when I listen to my clients' podcasts and they're saying, "Well, I just," or "I kinda," or I might feel like," they give those I don't even know what the right word is for those adjectives, right? But
Yeah.
they're stopping
Limiting.
themselves, yeah, from being the person, from being the purveyor of that, and
Yeah.
they're making themselves small. So
Yes.
if I'm looking for somebody who I need to help me get to the next level of my business, and you're like, "Well, I think," instead of "I am," then you're not my person.
Yeah.
But that's not how you really believe, right? Because you haven't trained yourself on how to use visibility the right way. Because everyone just talks about getting visible and not how we're using that visibility to actually get to what our goals are. Like, what do we want? Do we want to be able to fly first class with our family to Europe for the summer? Or do we want to drive to Florida and go to Orlando? Like, how do you want to be? And what do you want that business to look like? Has to start
Mm.
with how you're presenting yourself. Because I think thought leadership is BS. I really do.
Hmm.
Everyone's told we need to be a thought leader. I don't In the world of social media and in the world of reality and reality TV and what's happening in the world, that's not really a thing anymore. I was like, it's an old, personal development thing that used to be there. What you need to be now is a digital personality. I couldn't think of the word to say
Mm.
it. It's a digital personality. What is your
Yeah.
personality online? How
Wow.
close is it to your personality offline? Because we can't even do that anymore. And how
Right? It
are
has to
you
be
showing your
authentic.
personality
Mhm.
so that
Mhm.
people are in on you? You know, I'm a big Bravo watcher. I love Bravo. I love Summer House. I love
Uh-huh.
Peaches Sorbo. I love what she's created for herself, right? I love all these giggly squad girls and Kristen Cavallari and how she has her podcast. And it's just about who they are and what their digital personality is. They're winning in a space, right? They got the
Yeah.
attention. Now they have products and shows and they're doing all the stuff that we as entrepreneurs are getting to. So let's follow suit. They've already showed us what works. Being a
That's
digital
cool.
entrepreneur and showing what our personality is, our digital personality is, that's, I think, is the real way to win and to make real money in 2025 and beyond.
Oh, I love that. That is so cool, our digital personality, but I feel like it's all about authenticity, right? Like,
Oh,
and that's what you're saying. You're like, you are who you are. So how are you showing that? How are you delivering who you are? Because like I said before, there's no competition with that because nobody can be that except for you, right? So I love that. It's the things, it's the mix of things, it's your experience, it's everything, it's all your stories combined. And when people get to know you and see what you do and how you can help them, then they're going to just be begging to sign on the line to work with you,
yeah,
right?
I've seen it in my business. I've seen it in my clients' business. We're taught to like be a version of ourselves online, right? Like,
Yeah.
yes, do I have more energy with you on this interview than I have when I'm at my kitchen table? 100%. Right? Do I
Right.
turn it on when the camera goes on? Of course, because I'm on media. I need to be bigger. But the biggest compliment that I get from people who meet me in person are like, "Oh my God, you're the same person that I thought you were." Thank God I'm the same.
Yay. Because
Right?
wouldn't it be scary if you weren't?
But most people aren't, right? Most people are
Yeah.
putting on that facade instead
Mm,
of, like you said, that imposter syndrome or that limiting belief of like, who I am is not going to work. Who I am isn't good enough. Who I am isn't enough. And that's why I want
yeah.
everyone listening to embody the why not me? The enough's not even a
Yes.
part of it because when you can answer the question of why not me or be the why not me, there's no space for all of that stuff to come in. And that's really been my winning formula. You know, I've been in this
Ooh.
digital space since 2007. I've
Wow.
been, I was in the food business for a while. I had
Yeah.
a PR firm a couple of years ago, but I really love being able to support women and men on what their story is, what's the best, how to say it, what to say, and also where it actually counts. Because most people are great entrepreneurs, they're great coaches, they're great teachers, they're not great interviewees.
Yeah. And it's
You're like, yeah,
again, right?
I know
It's like
that.
it goes right back to that whole imposter syndrome,
Yeah,
right? Like, and then they feel like they just got this whole thing worked up. And when you can unravel that little, it reminds me of my cat's little yarn ball, right? It's like when you start to unravel that thing, it goes faster. It's amazing. You start to unravel, it's not so big and bulky anymore, but it's inside there. And it's video for most people is intimidating. I don't know why I've never been intimidated by it. I was on a TV show in college doing aerobics. Okay. So
that's why.
like, right. It's like, I just did it naturally. Right. I was just,
Yeah,
I did a lot of film and TV stuff before, I moved into the
yeah.
music and all that. But, and people think they just have to be born into it, but they don't realize, like you just said, they're trying to be what they see on TV, right? From a newscaster and all these other shows. But when they can truly be themselves and even screw up along the way, people are going to love you,
It takes
right?
practice. Like if I go back and look at my early videos, I definitely was that newscaster. Hi, it's Beth from New Jersey. Blah, like, you know, but that's how it's about getting started. It's about doing it.
Yes.
This is about practice, and everything about digital entrepreneurship is actually about testing. So when you could be like, "Oh, I'm just testing the video," versus how are they going to judge me? What are they going to say?
Right.
Like this is what I say to my clients when
I
they say
love
that.
that.
I because doing this is you're making people feel. And we have a contest in some of the programs that I run, who gets the most negative feedback. And
Hmm.
if you get the most negative feedback, then you win a
You
prize.
win.
You win. I'm like, to make somebody angry at something you've said and reach out, that's amazing. Like, look how you made them feel.
Right?
Versus, oh my God, I love you. You're amazing. That's easy to do. But
Yeah.
when you can make somebody feel something move into action, that's what we really want.
That's passion. right? That I
Yeah.
feel like that's
Oh, yeah.
passion. And so I love what you said too, because you just reframed. Everybody's worried about all those things. How do I look? My hair, I'm terrible on film. I don't like what I say. I don't like how I don't like my voice, all the things, right? It's just a test. Because like you said, it's like anything else. As a musician, if I didn't practice and I just was like put my set together and got on stage, I would suck, right? It was years and years. Nobody's good. You got to practice. You got to practice when you're in the shower, practice outside when you're walking. Just
Yeah.
get on and practice with a live. Like that's practice. It's just in real time. And
Nobody
no,
likes their voice. Nobody likes themselves on video. I had
so
a
true.
friend who worked at an she was a host on an MTV show, and she would tell us that after she would get off the show with these huge rock stars, like filling Madison Square Garden kind of rock stars, they'd be
Wow.
like, did I do a good job?" Like
Right?
nobody feels. Nicole Kidman doesn't feel like that. Tom Cruise maybe because he's Tom Cruise, but nobody, right? Nobody 100% feels like that ever,
Ever. Oh my God.
ever.
That's so true. All right. I know everybody's hanging on your every word, Beth. We're going to break real quick. We'll be right back. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Look for the Good. We're having the most incredible conversation here with Beth Nydick, and I love, I love everything you're saying. It's so up my alley. It so resonates with me. We're talking about practice. Like I feel like it's the art. It's everything all wrapped up, right? It's the science of what you do mixed in with the art, the storytelling, and all that. How do people get better at being themselves? What should they do if they're like, okay, I've been so afraid of social media, I can't even do a post. Like what would be the first thing that you would tell them to try?
With my Jersey love, there's two things I would say, depending on who they are, honestly. And I use and I'm very much. I grew up in Jersey. I live in Jersey. I love the culture of being from Jersey. Um, but depending on the situation, honestly, if you can't do that, then maybe this is not for you. And I
Mm,
say that to challenge them, right? I say that to be like, no, this is for me. Great. Then you got some fire in there. So let's
yeah,
go, right?
yeah,
And if
yeah,
you have fire in there, because women like this too, I'm sure, like they talk about wanting to do things, but they're never ever going to get to it. So
yeah,
let me challenge you to if you really want it or not, or it's just something else you're talking about. And if it's something else you're talking about, then go get a job in a doctor's office or be a real estate agent. That's fine
yeah.
too, right? Like that's great. But if not, if this is the thing you want to do, then what's that baby step?
Mm,
Right? Is
yeah.
it you don't need to go live, it's posting something. But I think the secret to all of that is creating your own lady gang. That's what I call them. I
Oh,
have my
lady gang.
right? I
The
have my
lady
own lady
gang.
gang. I
I
hope you have
love
your
it.
own lady gang. And that just means a friend who you can hit send with. That's a friend that you can be like, just look at this and tell me if it's not awful. Right?
Yeah.
Somebody
Yeah.
else to have your back that that they're always going to be there for them, for you. You're always going to be there for them. It's somebody who's going to like and comment on that post. Right? Because all you really need is one person that's not your mom, right? To be like, this is
Thanks,
amazing.
mom.
Right. Thanks, Bob. What are you? This is great, right? Thanks, you're still the best, honey. Right? We don't want our moms doing it,
Or
but like,
your aunt or something. Oh,
right? But that one
sweetie Beth,
person,
you're so good.
that person that's going to tell you the truth, that person that's
Yes.
really going to be there for you, and that you can grow with them. Right? Don't
Yeah.
pick somebody who's 10 steps ahead of you. Find somebody else who's kind of in the same boat. Hold hands. Meet at the library. Go. You hit send. I hit send. We'll do it together. That's how you get through this. This is not a business that you are going to get through on your own. So creating that lady gang, man, whatever you want,
I love that.
group. I just like girl gang. I'm from Jersey again, mobster, so gang kind of works for me. I never thought of it that way, but maybe that's why. But
You could
that's
do
the
a
first
whole
step.
course on that.
It's really what do you have to say?
Yeah.
And the caveat is it doesn't need to be different than anybody else.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to be so different. Well, I have to. What am I saying versus we could say the same thing about happiness and joy. You're going to say it differently than I am.
Sure.
So it's just pick that thing that you're going to talk about and start testing it. And then when you get the feedback, and again, bad feedback is not bad, then
Right.
you'll have the confidence to move through it. But this whole thing that they've chosen to do, that we've chosen to do, is a mind F. It really is,
Totally.
right? So
Totally.
continuing to do it, and the people that win in this business are the ones that are consistently doing it. That's the
That
big
is the key.
is consistency.
So the key. Like I get in a little roll. I'm like, this is great. Hey, I'm noticing when I get on and do XYZ, this is really working. I'm getting all these new followers. And then a week goes by because I got busy with something else, right? It's like you just said, consistently. When I launched my book in 2020, in the middle of the pandemic, I had this awesome, it was self-published, but I still had this gal that guided me, and she was like my publisher. And she's like, this is before anybody was really doing Facebook Lives. Remember those?
Yeah.
And she's like, Carrie, you must do a Facebook Live. I'm like, what? Yeah, Facebook Live. I did a Facebook Live. I titled it, I named it. I did it once a week for 2 years. And that was my practice, right?
Mhm.
That's how I got better.
Yeah.
Because it was practice every week. I didn't even have special guests. It was just moi. And I would actually have people come up to me afterwards, that like people that I know from around here and stuff, that you don't even know who's watching those, right? You can just see how many views and you don't know who they are unless they comment. And this one girl was like, what happened? Why'd you stop doing that? We need you, Carrie. And I was like, wait, what? Like,
Oh,
you have, and that was so sweet,
awesome.
right? But you have no idea. That's the other thing on the other end, the impact that you're making. We're so busy worrying about all these other silly things. We don't realize we're actually making an impact, and it doesn't have to be perfect.
No, not at all. My friend Lisa Johnson, she's a business coach out of the business coach out of Europe.
Oh,
She likes this point of view, which I really like. She says, act like you've already been canceled,
oh,
right? Isn't that amazing?
I
Like,
like that.
so there's no barrier to
Yeah,
what you're doing. And if we
yeah,
take the onus of like it needs to be something versus I'm putting something out to test something, then there isn't all that pressure to make it work. Right?
yeah,
If you're starting out, if you've been in this business for a while and you still are buying, let's go back to buying all the courses, right? Taking a
yeah.
beat and be like, okay, why am I buying all these courses? And again, you could be doing this for 10 years and it could be the wrong thing for you. So
Mm,
I always like to talk about that side of it because the permission to stop is there too. This is
yeah,
not easy. And if it's not working and it's not working for your family and you're going into debt because of it, and it's right, that's not what this is about.
true.
Those people, it's okay to stop and it's okay to try this for 2 years and be like, you know what, guys, not for me. It's not for everybody. And the messaging out there is you can make 6 figures in 6 months and everybody can do this. And all you need to do is post. And it's so much more than that.
Yeah.
It's like I said, personal development on crack, therapy, with Quaaludes, whatever you want to say. But this is not an easy road that we've chosen.
Yeah.
Sometimes I feel like the people that are the best at this are people who like to be punished. So,
Right.
right, like,
So you got to have nerves of steel. Okay,
oh,
maybe it's because I came from corporate sales for 10 years. Like,
yes,
all right,
totally.
so I got it. I get it. I'm not afraid of rejection, but you have to be tough. You got to be so tough. And you have got to have that, like you said, it's a mental game. It's a
The total
big
man.
time because you're going to have days that are high and days that suck all in a row for a long time until you feel that again, until you feel like, okay, and I feel like it's a constant reinvention, and maybe it shouldn't be, but it's a constant reinvention.
Of yourself, maybe not your business and your programs, but
Yeah.
to be honest, like after we get off our call today, I have 100 DMs to send because I'm in the middle of launching something, right? That's
Wow.
part of the business. It's not all like sitting in front of the camera and being cute, right? It's
Yeah.
doing all the work on the back end, having
Yeah.
those systems in place. But I just think we do people a disservice when we talk about like the shiny side of it. Or that
Totally.
every coach is amazing and I haven't gotten burned and you haven't gotten burned or spent money on something that wasn't what they told us it was going to be. Like, this is a
Yeah.
business. This is
Yeah.
not playtime.
It's not playtime, but it can be fun. I mean, I feel
Oh,
like
yeah.
if you find a way to make this fun, with especially the social media piece, which I think most people are really intimidated by, but injecting that fun. Hey, how can I make this fun? You know, how can I make this more exciting for myself? Oh, can I give myself? We can even bribe ourselves. That's okay. Can I give myself a treat if I do it like 7 days in a row? I go on a little live or just a post or a reel or whatever. Yeah, you can have that cute little bag that you've been looking at, right? So it's whatever it takes. And I love what you said, baby steps. I'm always telling my clients, because the baby steps, people think they need this big aha to happen. And you're going to wait for that for a long time, just like the, you know,
And they
professional
come and
development on
go,
crack.
right? Like,
Yes.
but I wouldn't do anything else. I could not show up at a doctor's office or real estate. I tried real estate for a second. Right? I could not do anything else. I've been doing this forever. I love the hustle. I love the passion. I love my colleagues and my friends that I do it with. It's a lifestyle. It becomes who you are. And I wouldn't change that, but it's not for everybody. So when you
It's
think
not.
about like if what we're saying is making you a little nauseous, it might be for you, right? If what we're saying today, you're like, I'm ready, I want you to question that.
Right. If it's making you a
That's
little nauseous because it's pushing you out of that zone, right? It's like, I want to do what Beth and Carrie are doing, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Oh, I'm scared. That's actually kind of a good sign. We're going to take that
yeah.
as a good sign.
Yeah, the false
Yeah.
confidence. I don't
Yeah.
always think that's a good sign.
Yeah.
And that's going back to the happiness and joy that we get from it. What is that? It's not the internal self-worth, right? It's
Right.
the accomplishing something, it's the creating something, putting it out into the world, people liking it, people being affected by it, or seeing what we can, I have big lofty ideas and big lofty goals. For example, the cocktail cookbook that came out a few years, it's called Clean Cocktails, Righteous Recipes for the Modern Mixologist.
Love it.
At the time, I was a health coach, and legit, this is how it happened. I was standing in my living room, had like 20 of my friends over. It was Cinco de Mayo. I had made all these drinks without sugar because I don't feel good when I drink lots of sugar, but I used to like to drink. And was looking around, and my girlfriends were like, what is this? This is so good. And I said to myself, this is a book. This is a cookbook. I then told 10 of my friends, like, hey, do you want to meet for coffee? I have an idea to like run by you. Nobody took me up on the idea. I knew I needed somebody to do it with. It wasn't
Mm-hmm.
something I was going to do by myself.
Mm-hmm.
I met this woman at a health fair that I had at a cookie bar company at the time. And I said to her,
Wow.
hey, like, can we have coffee? Like, I have an idea I want to pitch you. Went to her office. She thought I was going to pitch her, like, let's do a detox together. Half an hour in, I was like, I have a book idea. She called me the next morning. 8 months later, we had a book deal.
Oh my, wow.
Right?
That's
I found
amazing.
somebody else who was a doer, but I found
Yeah.
somebody else who liked the idea,
Yeah.
who was in on the idea. Everybody told us it wasn't going to happen. We didn't have
Really?
50,000 followers. We weren't big. I wasn't a big drinker. We didn't know each other. My uncle was like, you don't even like, I remember him. And I'm like, I'm going to show you, MFer. Like, but we always said to each other whenever we talked about it, this is a good idea. We were all in on the idea. We knew it was
Mm-hmm.
good. And that confidence or that delusion that
Mm-hmm.
it was going to happen made it happen because we weren't going to give up.
I
And
love
that's what
that.
it's about. It's like,
Yeah.
I made that happen. I'm now going to keep going to the next idea I have.
I love that because it is, I'm a super idea generator as well,
Yeah.
just like you. And it's like, you have that idea, but it's got all the makings, right? You knew it had a market. It's what people are into, right? It's got all those makings. You've got the credibility. You're a health coach. It's like all the pieces lined up. You found somebody to do it with you. When we feel that strongly, we put it out into the universe and it's really a great idea. It will make that path so easy for you, right?
And it did. I'd been out in LA, and all the bar restaurant menus started like not didn't have like the blue carousel, and started having like honey syrups and different
Hmm.
kinds of sugar in the drinks. And
Hmm.
I came back to New York, and it wasn't here yet. And I was like, that's the idea. And I felt
Totally.
it in my bones,
Yes.
and I felt that before, and I felt that since this book, the book happening changed a lot of my life because it was such on a big stage. It was traditionally published by Norton, and it's
Wow.
opened up so many doors for me to be able to do other things. But I had to do all the work before that to be able to make it happen. Right? I'd been on TV like you.
Hmm.
I'd done a lot of. I was a producer behind the scenes. After I became an entrepreneur, I was in front of the scenes. I was on Dr. Oz and The Chew and all the shows
Hmm.
at that time. And leveraging all that media is what got me the book deal. The idea made it happen, but showing up consistently, having a brand that was recognizable. And
Yeah.
when I say recognizable, I think I had 3,000 followers. Like it wasn't like I had this big audience,
Right.
but at that time, you didn't need a huge audience as
You
much.
didn't need 30,000.
No, now that would never happen.
Right.
But at that, I took advantage of what was going on in the marketplace. It all comes down to the idea and just having that, what they say now, delulu.
Delulu.
Behind it. I love that. Being delusional that it's
Right.
going to work because so many people were like, why are you going to be the one? And that's where, the why not me really served.
Love the why not me. It's so powerful because it just breaks through all those things that aren't true anyways. Like, and why do people do that to our ideas anyhow? That's why I don't really always share my idea,
Yeah.
until it's actually ready because people want to poo poo on it. Well, who knows why? We don't have to dive into that, but it's like, it does just know it's going to happen. Right. So just know. But
Yeah.
when you believe, you said some really important things about believing in your bones, just knowing Oh, I know this is a really great idea. And following through, being consistent. And really, it takes some guts. It takes courage to
Oh,
step out there and go, I'm going to do this and make it happen. Because I feel like that's where a lot of people fall short. So we're going to break real quick, but we're going to come back and talk about that because I know you have something good to share on that. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back on Look for the Good. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Look for the Good. I'm here with Beth, and this conversation is super high charged. I love it. I love your idea for that book. It was so awesome. I still think everybody should go get a copy of your Clean Cocktails. And let's talk about, we've got this great idea, right? And you just felt it in your bones, but a lot of people want to do it, right? Like 85% of the population want to write a book, but like less than 5 will ever get around to it. So what is the secret? How can you get yourself to do it when you don't want to? See, I'm a doer, you're a doer, but not
yeah.
everybody is a doer.
Well, I think they're not doers because they're connected to the how and the outcome
Mm,
versus the what. Like, what's the idea? Where do you want to take it? Who's it for? Because they just want to write the book. But what's the positioning of the book is actually what comes first. Like when you're building a brand, what's the mission and vision of the brand before you get to build the brand? So
hmm.
let's build about what it's going to look like, who it's for, like who, what, why, when, and where. Yeah,
Yeah,
like
totally.
make sure I got it.
Media
All the
101.
W's. And that right, because the how doesn't matter. The how
Right.
you can get to, right? The how you can
Yeah,
hire somebody to ghostwrite it for you. Like most of the high level people, they don't even write their own books. So if
totally.
we're focused on creating the foundation of what the book is going to be, then writing the book's the easy part.
It so is. And that's where people get, "Okay, oh, I can't write. I'm not a good writer." That doesn't even matter.
No.
Like you just said. And I feel like the why, I mean, the why is the juice. It's the juice that's going to get you out of bed every morning down into your office to do the things it's going to take to write that book and get it out there. But when you can get a big enough why and a big enough, juice behind it, and what's the idea that's so cool that fires you up, and it's going to fire everybody else up, then that's the stuff that gets it done. And I love what you said. It'll just kind of sort of, the other stuff is the easy part.
It is. But I think the why gets people tripped up also because
Mm,
they think their why needs to be, like I said earlier, I'm going to make an impact on 1,000 women this month,
yeah.
right? Like I don't really, that doesn't make me feel anything.
Yeah. It's
What makes
true.
me feel, to be completely honest and transparent, like I want to pay for college,
I was just going to say
right?
that.
Being able to write that check to my kids' university,
Yes.
that's what gives me the why.
That's the why. I was just going to bring that because I bring that example up all the time. It's like not the goal. We've got the goals $1,000,000, but what's the intention behind the goal, which is your why? It's that what's the thing that drives that along? And I always use that example. Oh, my daughter wants to go to this really expensive school.
Yeah,
That's why I need to make $1,000,000 this year because the other thing is just so flimsy. It's like a house of sand.
right. Or I want to retire my husband or buy my parents a house or right. But what's that thing that you're going to remember that when you think of, makes you a little nauseous? I go back to the
Yeah.
I always have stomach issues, so I guess
Go
I always
back to
I always
nauseous.
go to nausea. But like when I can do that for my kids, right? When I can
Yeah.
provide that for my family, when I can make
Yes.
my husband's life a little bit easier, or I can
Yeah.
buy that extra thing for I'm lucky that I'm not worrying about paying for food. But if it is, like I'm paying for groceries or I got to go to Whole Foods this time instead of Stop and Shop. Like what's that little thing
Yeah.
that you're going to, because it's about acknowledging yourself and acknowledging the change that you made in yourself to be able to attain that. It's not usually what the thing is.
Yeah, I love it. And it's that feeling. It's that
Oh,
feeling.
yeah.
How's it going to feel? Like, a lot of my big why is thinking like, I want to inspire my girls so that they feel like that they can follow their dreams. You can have something creative that you create and make it be impactful and make a difference. And whatever, define that however you want, when it's in your bank account, like what you're talking about, going and buying your food, whatever that means to you, but really defining it. What is the feeling behind it? And really not forgetting that when you're standing at your computer and you're on chapter 2 and you said you'd have 13 chapters, right? Because that's
That's
that's when
huge
that has
pile.
to
Right.
that's when you want to vomit. Never mind the nauseous, it's like that's why that has to be really big. And you got to be able to tap into that feeling at any moment in time to carry you through the hard stuff.
And the shame that goes along with not having 13 chapters done or not getting, I haven't launched yet or I haven't done the thing yet. It does keep you down. taking a step back from your business and looking to see what's going on. Oh, I was sick with COVID for a month. That's why I didn't make as many sales, right? Or my kid had an issue, or I needed to be mom right now, or daughter, or wife, or husband, or whatever your role is, right? We look at so many people who are in different places in their life. You and I don't have little kids. To do what we do with little kids, I give those people so much gratitude. Like, that's amazing that you can do that with like a 5 and 3-year-old. Like, blows my mind.
Yeah,
I don't think I could have done it when my
totally.
kids were that little, right?
No, totally. I was out traveling with my guitar, going to their preschools, doing music.
Yeah, right. I was
Right?
class mom.
I was marketing myself as kids music. But yeah, no, that's wicked hard because they need yeah. I
Oh,
mean,
your
I can
boss
put
is
the dog in
jealous.
the cage when I'm in here. It's not the same thing.
No, it's not the same thing. Or looking at somebody like you or I who have been in this business for so long. Like I've been doing this since 2007. I've been doing this a really long time. Right? Don't look at me to compare yourself to. Have it, and that's why having your girl gang or your friend, like whatever you're going to call them, having that person who's at the same stage you are, so you can commiserate, so you can support
Yeah,
each other, so you can push each other, so you can cry and laugh and drink a glass of wine or whatever it is that you need. But having that person in your corner so that you're not getting ahead of yourself. You're
totally.
not going to be
Yes.
freaking Jasmine Star and, and Paige DeSorbo or anybody else. You're just going to be you. And in 3 years from now, you're going to be unrecognizable if you can get yourself to do
So, so well said. Like our mutual friend Jen that we were talking about on the break. She
it.
always says, don't compare your chapter 1 to somebody else's
Yes,
chapter 13. But
100%.
but we
I like that.
do. Yeah. We do that because
Well,
we don't.
one of the things that I really did for myself is I put blinders on for the first probably 10 years of of doing this.
Wow.
I'm not looking at my competitors. I'm not looking at what other people are doing. I'm doing my thing. That's what was one of my secrets to success. Other people probably needed to have that competition from other people around them, but figuring
Yeah.
out what yours is and being happy about it, feeling good when you close your computer at the end of the day. You can't do this if you hate life. It's too hard, right?
Yeah.
Finding those pieces of joy, finding like I did a podcast, an in-person podcast yesterday. I did
Mm.
the Pink Book podcast with my friend Joyce, and I brought my
Ooh.
older son with me.
Oh.
It was really fun. But on the way, he was like, "Well," I was like, getting into the zone because I do have a
It's
certain
live.
ritual that I do
Mhm.
beforehand.
Mhm.
And he was like, "What you just had? It's just another interview for you." And I'm like, "No, every interview is the interview, right? I have to get myself ready, have myself together, know what my talking points are, know what I'm going to be doing." And he called me this morning, and he's like, "I just want to tell you how impressed I was by you yesterday."
Oh,
I didn't
well,
try to do it. Right? And he
oh,
actually told my husband, he's like, "Mom's really impressive." Like he had just had this like smirk on his face all night last night because he'd never seen me do it. He's heard me do it. But it's different when you're in a real studio, we had like, lapel mics. It was a different level. And showing him like that's part of my why. Right? That's part of what I want to have happen so that when he goes out in the world and he can do the things that he wants to accomplish, he can remember what I did and how that made him feel. And the joy that
uh,
that brings me is more than, when my kids are talking about being entrepreneurs or how they think differently than their friends because they've been listening to us for 10 years, it's a different level. So I don't want
mhm.
people listening being like, "Oh, it's hard and it's this and it's that." It's also the best decision I've ever made.
I love it. I love it. But to have your son say that to you is, I feel like,
No.
the pinnacle. It's the pinnacle, like what I said before. What I want my girls to believe about themselves and what they're capable of is so powerful to have him come to you and say, "Hey, mom, you're really impressive." Like, oh, you're like, can I just save this moment right here in time?
Yeah, it's everything. And it's also to be completely like, it's also like, okay, like I must be doing something right. Right. Like for him to not be like, "That was fun." Right. Not that he would say that, but you know what I mean? Like to get the kind of feedback that I get, because sometimes I don't feel like I'm doing it right. Sometimes I don't feel like, like, oh, I screwed that interview up, or that was kind of like I talked too much or I talked too fast or whatever, whatever the thing is.
Yeah.
But getting those reflections
Yeah.
and having my people that I can text and be like, "I'm having a day. Can you just check in on me?"
I
Right?
love
That's what
that.
makes all of this worth it,
Yes.
happen, do for me. Plus having this North Star of where I want to go and what I want this to look like. As I get older, it's how much longer do I want to do this?
Mm.
What is that going to
Yeah.
look like?
Yeah.
Not
And
that
then
we're old, I don't mean.
no, not at all. But then the next chapter, like I think about,
Right.
you mentioned retirement when we first got on, and it's funny you mentioned it a couple times, but my husband's really thinking about that, and I'm like,
Yeah.
babe, I don't feel like I'm ever going to retire. Like maybe I'm going to write another book. Maybe I'll do a series. Like I feel like there's just so much more. Maybe I'll go back to just writing more music. Or I always wanted to do a kids book with music in it. So all these things
Yeah.
together. So I feel like there's so many more projects. I'm never going to stop.
No, well, I want grandchildren in the next, 20 years. So I hope
Yes,
at
yes.
least in the next 20 years, I hope, right? Those little
Yeah.
munchkins and be able to like create our next level and do lemonade stands with them and that kind of stuff. I'm at my parents' house right now and they're retired-ish. My parents are, like I said, are entrepreneurs. They're not actually, I don't actually know what retirement looks like because my dad has never stopped working, but it's his
Aw.
form of retirement.
Mhm.
That's what I mean, retiring from like the online course creator offers and
Yeah.
moving into other things. What I'm working on next to be, and I will announce it here. I haven't talked about it a lot, to be honest. Uh,
Ooh.
I am going to be on the This Is It network. It's an online network that's on Apple, Roku, Prime. It's on Apple Plus. It's on all the platforms. I'm going to
Mm.
be hosting and producing my own late night talk show called Amplify Digital After Dark. We'll be open, starting premiering in September on the This Is It network, and I wanted to do it, and I'm really excited about it. I've always worked in talk shows, and I really wanted to create a space for people to be digital entrepreneurs, for you to come on and play music, right? And not talk about the things that you sell and the things that you do, and for my friends to come on and be who they are. Like, and for example, I have a friend has a huge copy business, but she's a Harvard trained actress. We're going to do some improv. I have a friend who is a stage coach, but she used to dance with Baryshnikov. I bought tutus.
Whoa.
You know what I mean? Like, I have a friend who was in Annie in the 80s on Broadway. I've asked her to come sing.
Oh, I
There's got to
love
be a
that.
place for us, to be Carrie,
Yeah.
and not Carrie who, or
Yeah.
not Beth who is just Beth. So we're gonna do weekly shows starting in September, and I
I
keep
love it. Oh
live
my
studio
God.
audience filled in New York City. We're putting all the things together. Some of the shows, if you're listening before that, some of the shows are already on. There's Gloss World with Jen Polt and Dr. Kate, who's a sex therapist. She's got the best show. Go watch
So
that.
fun.
This Is
Hmm.
It Network on all the platforms.
Wow. That is so exciting. Congratulations. It's like
Yeah.
it's like full circle to everything that you've
Oh yeah.
done, right?
Yeah, I'm really excited about having a platform that's like, yeah, it's everything I've done, but also really good at a platform to show off my friends.
I love that. Oh my God. That is so exciting. You're bursting. You're like glowing when you
Yeah,
talk
well,
about it.
I've been working on it, actually producing this show like on my own for a long time before this opportunity came in. And my friends would be like, Beth, you talk about we know you love your business, but when you talk about producing a TV show, you light up.
You
And
totally
that's when
do.
I knew I had to do it, right? And I've had this idea and I've been percolating it. I actually had a Today Show producer talk to me about it for a little bit, and the iterations have kind of changed. But having a show that I can produce and I can develop, because that's not the end game, right? My end game is, maybe Paige DeSorbo will host it and it'll be on Netflix, right? Or
Right?
Hulu, right? Because she's an entrepreneur and a place for people to, yes, come on the show and talk about what they do, but also about other things. Like think about the late night talk shows, right? Like what's her name was just on for the Jurassic movie, Mary Collin Jost.
Mhm.
I can't see her. I can't remember her name. Yeah,
Oh,
an actress or actor goes on these late night talk shows. They talk about the movie for like 3 minutes, but they talk about their life for 10 minutes.
yeah, they do.
So why are we going on all these platforms and just talking about our product and not talking about our life? My show is going to be talking about life.
I love the concept.
It's going to be
I
fun.
love it. And you got to serve everybody clean cocktails when they come on.
Yes.
I
Yes.
love that.
100%.
What a refreshing, like, let's talk about our lives, right? Like, we're so big. I love what you just said. And if more people did that on social media, you'd get more followers because people really want to know who you are, right? They're dying to know who you are. Yeah, they want to know what you offer, but let them see who you are first. And then, like you said, your offer, they'll just run to buy it because they'll like who you are so much. And we like who you are so much, Beth. So thank you so much for coming on
Oh,
the show.
I'm so happy to be here. Thanks for having me. I could talk to you forever.
It's so fun. Oh my gosh, we could do another 2 hours and we'd just be giggling the whole time. And I love it. Everybody, remember, go get your lady gang. You need your lady gang really to help you and support you on this venture. And if they want to find more about you, where would they find you?
You go to my website, Beth Nydick, that's N-Y-Dick, or you can find me on Instagram. Actually, no, Carrie, if you're listening right now and you want to get more of my information or just find out more about me, go to my Instagram, and while you're there, like me, and then DM me the word Carrie, and I'll send you something that I'll create for just your audience.
Ooh, DM her the word Carrie. And I love that you spelled it because we like to spell everything on radio because this will drop first on radio and then we'll get it on video. But Beth, did you say Beth New York Dick?
I did.
I love that. It's a really easy way. It spells itself. I love it.
And everybody giggles, which I think is the funniest.
It's awesome. It was actually my dad's name, so I don't like to use it as a curse word. So, so everybody, this has been amazing. I hope you got some great tips, and you know where to find Beth. And don't forget to DM her. My name, Carrie, with a Carrie. And remember, everyone, it is never too late to live your best story. Be well.
Thanks for tuning in to Look for the Good with your host, Carrie Rowan, best-selling author and mindset coach. Join us every Monday at 5 a.m. and 5 p.m. right here at Dream Vision 7 Radio Network. If you weren't able to catch an episode, no worries. Just visit our website to find all the archived episodes of Look for the Good on demand, so you don't miss a thing. And remember, it's never too late to live your best story. For additional resources or to find out about how you can work with Carrie directly, visit carrierowan.com for more details.